Now, I would be remiss if I didn't give a short vote of thanks to Westminster magistrates who today issued 3 sentences for the Just Stop Oil protesters who invaded the pitch at Lord's during the Ashes. I was there watching it, as it happens, back in June. 3 members of the Climate Change Action Group took it upon themselves to interrupt the match before the wicket-keeper, the heroic Johnny Bairstow, picked one of them up and carried him off the pitch and just dropped him over the boundary as if he were a rotten fish. Anyway, today a judge issued all of them with a 12-month community order and, perhaps most gratifyingly, banned them from Lord's. Well, joining me now, a quick comment on the matter, is Just Stop Oil spokesman Zoe Cohen. Zoe, thank you very much for joining me. Is this justice done?
Thanks for having me on. Well, I'm really conscious that you're probably really only having me on as some balance for Ofcom to cover up your misinformation.
Well, tell me what the misinformation is. You're on, you've got the floor.
Well, you push misinformation, denial and delayism on climate regularly and have done for many years.
We haven't been going for many years. We've only been going for 2 years, so we can't be doing it for that long.
Okay, forgive me, many months. But what you're doing here is showing the footage of the action, and what you should be doing, Jacob, is showing the footage of climate impacts. What you should be doing is footage of Storm Babbitt, footage of people's homes being wiped away, footage of crops failing. You know.
Well, what I'd say to you, as I've said before, is why don't you stand for election and see if you can get people to vote for you to have the policies that you want? I stand for election and put forward policies that I think the British people will want and will like. If you believe in what you're saying, why don't you put your names forward for election rather than disturbing people's pleasure pointlessly?
So, to be honest, your misinformation is betraying your own children. I actually feel really sorry for your own children.
That's very kind of you, but I'm asking you, why don't you stand for election?
Because you know full well, Jacob, you know full well we haven't got time. You know we've gone past 1.5 degrees this year. I mean, little Sixtus is going to be, how old will Sixtus be in
Sixtus is 6. Sixtus runs splendidly as 6, so an ideal age for somebody called Sixtus. But this isn't really the point. The point is, can you persuade the British people in a democracy that what you're saying is true? If you can, you will form a government and you'll be able to make these choices. Why don't you try that? Why do you have to do it by protest, which is actually making your cause less popular?
We have to do it because we face nonsense like this, Jacob. We face people like you who push misinformation and delay. You earn 30 grand a month.
Yes, this has remarkably little to do with your upsetting Lords or destroying people's pleasure when going to the theatre or stopping people getting to the doctor. I'll ask you again, why don't you stand for election and try and win a democratic...
We don't have a working democracy in this country. We have been sounding the alarm for decades now, Jacob.
We have a working democracy which you won't participate in. That doesn't give you the right to disrupt people's pleasure. But thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure. I can see your placard. You even protest when you're down the line. It's brilliant. But thank you very much indeed.